Alright, let's dive into this because it's a story that's equal parts shocking, heartbreaking, and deeply thought-provoking. So, Perez Hilton, yes, the Perez Hilton, the guy who defined gossip blogging in the 2000s, is in the hospital after a livestream where he appeared to self-harm. And no, this isn't just another celebrity drama story. This is about mental health, the dark side of fame, and the consequences of a life lived in the public eye. Let me break it down for you. First off, the livestream itself is something I can't stop thinking about. Imagine being a fan, tuning in to see Perez, and then witnessing something so disturbing that you're calling the police. That's exactly what happened. Fans saw him covered in blood, seemingly in the midst of a mental health crisis, and the comments were flooded with people begging him to stop. What's even more chilling is that his family was home just minutes before this happened. They had to flee with the kids to protect them from witnessing the trauma. Personally, I think this raises a deeper question: how do we balance our fascination with celebrities' lives with their right to privacy and mental well-being? It's easy to forget these are real people with real struggles. Now, let's talk about TikTok's role in all this. A spokesperson said a moderator error delayed the removal of the livestream. Apparently, it was flagged within minutes, but it still went on for about 15 minutes. That's 15 minutes too long, if you ask me. What makes this really interesting is how platforms like TikTok are becoming the stage for these kinds of crises. We're so used to seeing curated, perfect lives online that when something like this happens, it's a stark reminder of the fragility of human existence. And TikTok banning his account? That feels like a band-aid on a bullet wound. It doesn't address the bigger issue of how we handle mental health emergencies in the digital age. Here's where it gets even more complex: Perez Hilton's past. He built his career on gossip, often crossing lines that many found cruel. Demi Lovato called him a bully, Lady Gaga accused him of stalking, and Mila Kunis said he spread filth. But in recent years, he's expressed regret for his actions. He's talked about finding God, feeling shame for his past behavior, and even distancing himself from the mean-spirited approach that made him famous. From my perspective, this adds another layer to the story. Is this a case of karma? Or is it a reminder that even those who've hurt others can be hurting themselves? It's a messy, human situation with no easy answers. What many people don't realize is that this isn't Perez's first brush with hospitalization. Earlier this year, he was in the hospital for 3 weeks with sepsis, which required emergency surgery. He talked about it bringing him closer to God and even expressed regret for his past actions. But here's the thing: mental health doesn't just disappear because you've had a spiritual awakening. It's an ongoing battle, and this latest incident feels like a tragic continuation of that struggle. One thing that immediately stands out is how his family is handling this. They're focusing on his recovery and the well-being of his kids, which is exactly where their priority should be. But it also highlights how mental health crises ripple out, affecting everyone around the person in pain. If you take a step back and think about it, Perez Hilton's story is a microcosm of our culture's relationship with fame. We elevate people to godlike status, then tear them down when they falter. We consume their drama, their pain, their lives, and then we're shocked when it all comes crashing down. This raises a deeper question: are we complicit in the very system that breaks people like Perez? Personally, I think we are. We're the ones clicking, sharing, and commenting, feeding the machine that chews people up and spits them out. So, where do we go from here? Perez is in serious but stable condition, and his recovery is going to be a long process. His family is asking for privacy, and honestly, they deserve it. But this story shouldn't just fade into the background. It's a wake-up call for all of us, celebrities, fans, and platforms alike. We need to rethink how we treat mental health, how we consume media, and how we hold each other accountable. A detail I find fascinating is how Perez's own past is now part of the narrative. It's like his story has come full circle, but not in the way anyone would have wanted. What this really suggests is that fame isn't just glitz and glamour, it's a double-edged sword. And for someone like Perez, who's been on both sides of that sword, this moment feels like a reckoning. In my opinion, the best thing we can do is learn from this. Not just as spectators, but as participants in a culture that often prioritizes drama over humanity. So, here's my closing thought: let's use this as a moment to reflect. How do we treat the people we put on pedestals? And what can we do to make sure their humanity isn't lost in the chaos? Let me know what you think in the comments below.